Yo, what is going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lamsey back again with another video, and today we're going to be going over my opinion on what I think the Borussia Dortmund team should look like at the start of next season. Now, if you've been paying any attention to what Dortmund has been doing over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it has been insane. They've made 4 key signings already, and oh my god, like, this team is looking absolutely amazing. Obviously, they're probably a little bit still upset from the fact that they lost the Bundesliga last season with the last couple of weeks to go. I know you can say that, if Munich lost the last game, but it was really never going to happen. It was just those few slip-ups in the last few weeks that really did cost them in the end. But Dortmund are really looking strong so far. Their team is looking amazing on paper, and I cannot wait to show you what this team will look like. I know you guys probably got a brief idea of what it'll look like, but let me know in the comment section below what players you think should be in the starting 11, what players should be on the bench, all that sort of stuff. I just really love interacting with you guys. But nonetheless, guys, let's just jump straight into it. So obviously in goals, we have Roman Bürki. Obviously, we can't really say too much about him. He's obviously one of the best goalkeepers in the Bundesliga. Had a pretty good season overall for Dortmund, but I think towards the end of the season, obviously made a few mistakes towards the end. But to be fair, we're all human. Goalkeepers really get the stick a lot. I'm an ex-goalkeeper myself, and it's really hard to be consistent all the time. And that's why props to players like Buffon, De Gea, Cech, all the real big names that play in goal. Like, it's really hard, and it's mentally really challenging. So Bürki is a phenomenal goalkeeper, and I'm sure he'll continue his form, throughout next season. Now, moving over to the left back spot. Now, I cannot be any more thrilled to say this name on a Dortmund team sheet. Nico Schulz. What a phenomenal player. I'm so stoked. Like, when I saw this, I legitimately ran into my brother's room. I'm like, oh my god, Dortmund signed Nico Schulz. Like, what a great signing. Obviously, he's a left back by trade, can play left mid, left wing back. He's very versatile. He played pretty much, I think, like 35-40% as the left back, and then the rest played at left mid. He can obviously play in both spots. I think left wing back for Germany as well. So pretty much a really good all-round player on that left-hand side. 2 goals and 9 assists from that, beautiful Bundesliga season. And to be fair, £23 million is an absolute bargain. I don't know what it is about Bundesliga teams selling to other Bundesliga teams, and especially like Serie A teams as well. They love selling them internally for actually decent prices, not like the Premier League where everyone is overpriced. It's unreal. Like, if Schulz was a Crystal Palace left back, he would have gone for at least 50-60 million. Like, look at Wan-Bissaka, he's going for like 50-60 million, and it's just unreal. Like, someone of that quality, Nico Schulz, going for 23 million is an absolute bargain. He's going to be amazing to have there, and it's going to be really good because it's going to be a really good replacement for Guerrero, because obviously he's a little bit on and off. But when you can get someone like that, and who's pretty much a team of the season player like Schulz is, you cannot go wrong whatsoever. So Schulz is a phenomenal signing. Cannot wait to see him run that left side for Dortmund next season. Now, moving over to the right back role, we got Lucas Piszczek. Now, unfortunately, it isn't Hakimi, and we all know what Real Madrid are like with their loan players that are really young. They put a crazy price tag on them if they do, really well on loan. And we all know Dortmund, they're not going to spend 50, 60, 70 million on a player. It's just not how they do business. Like, every player that they've bought so far in this transfer window has been under £35 million. So, like, it's just great business that Dortmund do, and it's great business only when they're not paying anything extravagant. Like, Hakimi had a really good season, but to be fair, Piszczek can fill the boots really well. Obviously, he's in his mid-30s, so obviously he is getting on. But to be fair, hear me out with this one. He played 20 games in the Bundesliga last season, so it's not like his age is wearing him down. Next season, we really don't know. He's got to really get a good preseason under his belt, and obviously he's just got to stay match fit. Like, he's just, and injury free, of course. So also, on that note, a lot of young players are coming into this Dortmund team, so his leadership is going to be key, like, especially for Schulz in that back line. And obviously, it is quite a young back line when you look at it, when we go into it a little bit further. You got Zagadou, and you've got Akanji, you've got a lot of young players in there as well. So Piszczek, I think he's got a lot to go through this season. I think leadership is going to be key, and I just really hope he can have a good season ahead. Now, I did briefly mention young defenders, but this one does make an exception. Now, Mats Hummels is back in the yellow and black, and I couldn't be any happier. My brother couldn't be any happier, and I'm sure 98% of Dortmund fans couldn't be happy. I know, some of you might not like the fact that he did leave to Munich and then come back, and then, but to be fair, Hummels, he really does bleed yellow and black, and, he is a leader by trade, and we all know what he's like as a skipper, and, he's going to be tremendous to this team, like I was sort of briefly going over with Berkey, the defense did look a little bit shaky at times, and that's why Dortmund have looked at getting 2 new players into that back line to freshen up the defense. Hummels is a great centre-back, probably maybe top 10, top 15, I would say. Obviously, is getting a little bit on at the moment, is 30 years of age, but I feel like defenders, if they keep in good shape, they can last a little bit longer than some other players on the pitch. But Hummels is going to fit right into the team. He doesn't need, to learn the Dortmund way. He knows it, like the back of his hand. So I cannot wait to see him back in the yellow and black. Now, moving over to Hummels' partner in crime. Now, this could be a good shout for either Akanji or Zagadou. Now, the thing is about Dortmund, they like to, switch things up a little bit in the back line quite often. Akanji did play most of the Bundesliga season as centre-back. Obviously, injuries and, personnel changes did happen quite a bit, but I think Akanji does show the most potential. Zagadou obviously has a lot as well, but I think Akanji does complement Hummels a little bit more. I also do believe Akanji's pace will help out Hummels quite a lot, because Hummels is going to start to slow down a little bit, being, turning 31. I know Schulz is really, really quick, but Pijek is also going to be slowing down a little bit as well. So we've got to have a really fast centre-back, and Akanji does have that in his locker. Obviously, a really good defender as well. I think he's going to be really, really good for the future, and I think the more game time this bloke gets, it's going to be more beneficial for Dortmund in the end. Now, moving over to the first defensive midfielder in the team, and this was the snub of the FIFA Team of the Season. It is Thomas Delaney, the Danish beast. Obviously, so well-rounded, fantastic first season for Thomas Delaney this season. And, there isn't really a bad thing that you can say about him. Like, he's big, he's strong in the tackle. He can shoot, he can pass. He brings that real good physical presence into the midfield. And I don't think, the two CDM partnership is really going to change, because obviously you've got Axel Witsel as well. Axel Witsel, oh my God, he's a beast. I was so disappointed when he first left, to go to China. And I thought, man, you're really screwing up your career by going to China. I know a lot of shit hangs on China, and I know a lot of people do make the move to China to benefit their families and all that, and I know we probably think a little bit irrational at times, but I felt like he could get the money just about anywhere. I know China do have a lot of money, but when I found out that Witsel, went to Dortmund from last season, I was like, you beast, you came back. And I reckon that people spoke to him in the national team. I was like, you've got to go to a top team like Dortmund, or, he could play in just about any big team in the world. And how he picked Dortmund, I was absolutely stoked, because he is basically a mirror image of Delaney. He can basically do everything as well. He's a height beast in the midfield as well. So if Delaney and Witsel, complement each other like they have done, last season, there isn't going to be too many other combinations in the Bundesliga that'll beat them. And these guys are just going to run right. Like usually every season that gets on, these guys are going to get better. So I cannot wait to see these guys play together again. Now, the attacking third. Now, this is where shit gets real serious. Now, obviously, Jadon Sancho. Wow, oh wow, what a beast. Now, obviously, at the start of last season, the man was worth £18 million. Now he's worth 90 to £100 million. Like, what a beast. Obviously, what a big let up for Man City to lose Sancho. Like, seriously, but who would have thought that Sancho was going to have this crazy season? 12 goals and 17 assists in the Bundesliga was a phenomenal effort, and especially to show everyone that English players can play abroad, because there is a bit of a stigma to that, and Sancho has smashed it out of the park. Obviously, being so young as well, it's just so good to see Sancho, do so well in the Bundesliga. Now, I've tucked him over the left-hand side. Now, I did liaison with this with my brother, and obviously with the new arrival on the right-hand side, Torgan Hazard, I think it would be best suited for Sancho to play on the left. Now, he did play, I believe, 50-50, Sancho on the left and then obviously played on the right as well. So he's got experience both on the left and the right. I don't think it matters to him whatsoever what side he plays on, because he's going to score goals and he's going to get assists no matter what. So Sancho, if he has anything of a season like he had last season, by God, look out. He's going to absolutely explode. What I'm expecting is pretty much the same. I'm not going to over dramatize it. I think he's probably going to score double digits in goals and double digits in assists again. If he can do that again, by far he's going to be one of the world's best players. And to be fair, I can probably see him moving on, to like a Manchester United or something. That's if he wants to go back home. But if he's enjoying it, why would you leave? Like, Dortmund will probably give you the money no matter what. So Jadon Sancho on the left is going to be lit. Now, obviously, I did briefly mention him before. It is Thorgan Hazard. Obviously, had a great season for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and I feel like this story is going to be a little bit like Marco Reus, how he left Mönchengladbach and went to Dortmund and absolutely tore it up and became a huge player. Now, the thing is about Hazard is that his older brother, Eden, he basically lives in the shadow of him, and I really hate that, because Thorgan is actually such a good player as well. He plays up front for Belgium most of the time with Eden, his brother, and with Michi up front, obviously, him playing on the right, Eden Hazard on the left. But Thorgan Hazard had an amazing season last year, obviously double digits in goals and assists, 10 goals, 11 assists, and joined in for £23 million as well, like far out, absolute bargains. I don't know what it is about German teams giving other German teams good players for real good money instead of being absolutely overpriced, like I said, with the Premier League. But I truly believe after the first season that he's going to have at Dortmund, I think everyone's going to stop saying, he's not as good as Eden, and, I think the comparison's going to stop. I think he's going to start his own legacy here at Dortmund. I think he's going to do amazing things, and he's going to really help Dortmund push for that league title again. I think I can just see it. It's written in the stars for him. Like, I think he's going to make himself proud. I think he's going to make Eden proud. He's going to make Kylian, his other brother, proud. He's going to make his whole family proud. I think this is going to be really good for him. This move is perfect for him. Now, moving over to the cam role. Now, this one was really hard for me to pick out, because usually Marco Reus would probably play in this position. But to be fair, Reus is a really versatile player, and he can play anywhere across, the front four. But when you sign someone like Brandt for 23 million, oh my God, 23 million, like, I cannot believe that someone like this has gone for that price as well. But Brandt is an amazing passer of the ball. He got 14 assists in the Bundesliga last year, and obviously contributed to 7 goals as well. So phenomenal, cam work there by Brandt, and he is definitely elite, definitely one of the best central midfielders in the game right now, and I can't see Brandt not playing cam for Dortmund next year. Like, I know, you can change up, the formation, but, this is the formation that usually they stick to, either a 4-2-3-1. I think they have used a 4-2-2-2 as well, but I think the 4-2-3-1 complements a lot of these players in their natural positions, because, they've signed so many players, and it's really hard to fit all of them into the one team. But Brandt has to play cam. He's going to feed the ball in a lot to, Sancho and Thorgan, and obviously Marco Reus, but I just think Brandt has to play cam, Sancho has to play on the left, Hazard has to play on the right. Let me know what you guys think as well. It's really been difficult for me to pick this, but obviously moving over the striker, it is Marco Reus, one of my favourite players of all time. He's just a genuinely awesome bloke. 17 goals, 11 assists in the Bundesliga last season, and boy oh boy was it awesome to see Marco Reus play. Well, what can you say, 75% of the season. Obviously been injury prone for so many years. Obviously one of Germany's best players. Obviously one of Germany's probably best players over the course of their history. I believe anyway. But when Marco Reus stacks up a lot of games in a row, his confidence goes through the roof. He plays amazing football. No one can really touch him. He's one of the best footballers when he gets going, and I think this season he's going to do wonders again, as long as he can stay fit. Like, that's all I really hope for. Just Marco Reus stays fit, stays healthy, doesn't get injured. It's just really a shame how his career has gone so far up until this date. Obviously has had a lot of good things about his career, but his injuries have really hurt him big time. But Reus He is a cult hero. I love him to bits. I'm sure everyone else loves him that's watching this video. If you don't, well, you can get fucked. Like, seriously, if you don't like Marco Reus, I don't even know why you're watching this video. But I think that is the starting 11 that Dortmund will have next season. I really can't think of any other way that they could have the team, because it just complements everyone in their natural positions. Obviously, Schulz and Reus are probably the two main ones that you can probably, toss up, because obviously Sancho can play on either side, and it's just a really, really good team overall. Obviously, the subs bench up here. Obviously, I can't remember how many are in the Bundesliga, but I've got 8 up on the screen right now. Hits, obviously, in goals. Can't see him getting much starting 11 time, but just want to give a big shout out to Weidenfeller. Obviously, I believe he retired, but he was a long servant to the Dortmund team, and I really hope he goes on to do really good things. I hope he goes into like goalkeeper coaching or something, because he was an absolute beast in his prime. And, I think a lot of young players can learn from him. Moving over, we've got Zagadou. Now, this one was a little bit tricky for me. Like I said before, it was either going to be Akanji or Zagadou. You can make a case for either of them. I think Dortmund do really, really well with, squad rotation. And I think Zagadou and Akanji will play quite similar time of football. I think they're going to play the same amount of games, but who knows, one could get injured and one could come in for the the rest of the season. Diallo is obviously the other centre back. I much prefer Akanji and Zagadou over Diallo, but Diallo is a young French centre back as well. I just don't know how they can keep all these young players on their books, but they do so well in doing it, and I really hope Diallo stays, because if they ever do decide to go to like a 3-back or a 5-back, he'll come in really, really handy. Moving over as well, we've got Schmelzer. I think he's going to be great for Schulz in the long term. I think he's going to teach him a lot of really good things. I think he can learn a lot. Schulz can learn a lot off Schmelzer. I think, from Schmelzer being a big leader at Dortmund, I think, he can learn a lot from him. Got De Hood in the midfield as well. It was really hard for me to choose between De Hood and Brun Larsen, but I think De Hood really has the most potential to reach. Wolf obviously is a little bit injury prone, but I think Wolf does bring that attacking presence to the wides, and to be fair, when you play with wide cams or wingers, you need to have someone like that on the bench, and he obviously is quite versatile as well, can play through the middle, but I think Wolf does complement the system quite a bit. I know he does get injured a bit, but I think we have to have Wolf on the bench. And obviously you've got Mario Götze. Now, I was a little bit iffy about whether he would actually be good this season, but to be fair, he was really good off the bench, and he was actually really good as a false 9 as well. Like, I was actually quite amazed with the efforts that he played in, how Dortmund wanted to use him this season. He was pretty much instrumental, in the middle parts of the season where we needed someone to step up and score a goal or get an assist. Götze was actually there, and I really did worry about Götze playing false 9, but he proved me wrong, and I'm happy to admit that I was wrong there. Now, obviously, Paco Alcácer. Now, you could probably shout this, for him being in the starting 11, but what a baller Paco Alcácer was off the bench, and he is the definition of a super sub. I saw Dortmund actually made a post before. He scored 18 goals in the Bundesliga last season, and 12 of them were off the bench. Now, that is crazy. But to be fair, like I said, guys, it's really, really hard to fit all these new players into the team, and they would have all been, guaranteed first-team starters and, 90 minutes pretty much every single game. So it's really hard to put Paco Alcácer in the starting 11, but I'm pretty much sure that Paco would probably be happy to stay and play off the bench. Like, he just signed for, I believe, 21 million on a permanent basis, which was fantastic, and I think they would have said, we prefer you to come off the bench, especially for next season, and he probably would have been like, yeah, no worries, all good. But that is pretty much everything in a nutshell, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your opinions. Obviously, I'm not as well educated on the Dortmund team as I am with Chelsea, but I would love to hear your opinions. I love to interact with you guys. If you've got any other thoughts or any players that I've missed out, let me know. But other than that, guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, I really would appreciate a like. Please do subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more real life content. I'm moving away from the FIFA, so if you are more into that, please turn that bell and notification button. I can't believe I'm saying that, but guys, if you have enjoyed, please give it a like, please do subscribe, and I shall see you legends on the next video. Peace out.